Oh. Your internet's, I think it's very spotty.
Is it me? Okay, let's see if that's a little better. Hold on.
Yeah, because you kept stopping, you know?
This is the first time that I have been home working, John is home working, and his son is downstairs in the basement on his computer.
That would be the problem.
And so we are finding out then that this is not enough, which I had said before. I think we're going to need more internet speed.
Yeah, it's just a problem of getting it.
Well, I don't know if we have the highest. I didn't do it all. He set it up.
Oh, yeah, because
We just moved.
yeah, that's right.
And before it was
And
just the two of them, it was fine.
yeah, here my internet, I've been struggling with it lately because I
Mm-hmm.
have Starlink and then I have three Wi-Fi points in my house, and they went through Wi-Fi to the Starlink, and Joe was just like, okay, enough of this. And
Yeah.
he just wired them all in last week so we wouldn't have any more issues.
Oh, I don't even know how you do that, but that sounds impressive.
Yeah, it's all wired now, so hopefully um I don't have any more struggles because I was struggling for a while. Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot to let my dogs out. Damn it. That's
you
okay.
can go do that quick.
Yeah. Lori's okay, eh?
Yes, Lori's okay. They still, well, I saw this morning they still had some power and Wi-Fi.
Yes,
I'm assuming.
I've been checking regularly.
Okay, good. And she's still
So
good.
yeah, I'm just looking right now again because I'm ridiculous. Um, yeah. And now they have a new tropical storm coming in next
Or
week.
what?
29 minutes ago, she put up here another tropical storm is coming in next week. It comes in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday it pulls into Florida and it goes right through like inland.
Oh my gosh.
So
Oh my gosh.
I know she just put that 29 minutes ago.
Well, I bet property in Florida is going to be cheap in about a year. That's insane. That is
Where are
literally,
you at again?
well, right now I'm in Pennsylvania, but I'm in South Carolina.
Yeah.
So, but like where I'm at in South Carolina is less than 3 hours from Florida. So
So
it's,
I wouldn't be surprised if you guys got some issues there as well.
well, yeah, we're going to get tropical storms from Milton because he went out to sea and then it'll kind of come back and we'll get all the surge and all the rain bands that come from the hurricane. So we'll get the next tropical storm as well. But if it's starting on the other side of Florida, we won't get it near as bad.
That's just rough. Like, it's so
Yeah.
funny. Last week, um, on the weekend, just this last
Yeah.
weekend, I was at this women's retreat, crafting retreat,
Mm-hmm.
and there were winds that were about 90 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
And that was like, whoa, everyone was
Yeah.
freaking out about these 90-kilometer an hour winds. And, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. So, and then a hurricane is just absolutely freaking insane. Am I stuck?
No,
Oh. Did you just get a
I
work
just
thing?
can't. Huh?
Oh, I thought you just got a work thing or something. Your face got real.
Like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Oh, she just the new message. I just got
Yeah.
another new client.
You did just get a work thing.
Of course I did. It's a notification, another new client.
Oh.
It's ridiculous. Oh, like it's absolute insanity. So here I am writing it down. Like, is Rita with us today?
No, she has her school. The kids have their oh shoot, what was it? Their I want to say inauguration, but that was not the right word, but it starts with an
Gotcha.
yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I mean,
And I want to just, oh, you know, sometimes I just have to work to not, I don't know. When I was a little girl, I had a very, very abusive childhood.
hmm,
Um, and my father did everything, most things non-verbally. So he disciplined
it's
us
worst.
non-verbally, and we knew what we were supposed to do by a look, you know, and we
Hmm.
could tell when he was going to go home, like when he was going to leave to get drunk and come home and beat everyone by a certain way he left. And everything was just nonverbal. And it's
Yeah.
really an awful thing. To me, it's like second nature to read nonverbal and to see
Mm,
nonverbal cues. And it's not something I like, it's just
right.
there, right? According to my psychologist, that's why. And I just, I read all these nonverbal cues and I just have to, at work, and I just have to just say, that's okay. Just
Yeah.
continue with your day.
Hmm.
And now is one of those times. Another client. Like I literally have since our last meeting, I got 4 more clients.
I just feel like there has to be something in the contract that yes, you're contracted, but you can't be contracted to 75 hours a week. Like, there's got to be a limit where you're able to go just stand up and be
Well, I
like,
mean, I can turn around and like say not do the work,
yeah.
right? But the problem is when you're on contract, you can just be fired at any moment.
Hmm.
They don't have to give you a reason.
Right.
And so if I'm fired right now, I have no means to get EI
True. Yeah.
to build my coaching business,
I gotcha. Yeah.
which I can't risk a
Hmm.
whole like 6 months of EI
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
over this. And so they know the boss knows she's got us under a barrel right now, all of us.
Yeah.
And she has one of us consultants is her favorite. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
It's no big secret. So she
Yeah.
has her dolling out and keeping track of everyone, which has never happened in the entire time that I've
Yeah.
ever worked there.
Yeah.
It's a new thing. So I would imagine that she is going to put this woman, her name's Natalie, and I imagine she's going to put her into a different position when this is all over. Okay, you are, is it my internet? How can that be? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? I cannot, what the heck? Um, I've lost you. Okay.
Am I back?
Hello?
Am I back?
You're really struggling. Your network bandwidth is low, it says.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but can you hear me? Hello?
Barely. Let me try to call back on my phone. Oh,
Okay.
there you are. Let me call back on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if my phone is stronger.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna need a quicker internet.
Yeah, obviously, eh? I thought Cheryl was here today.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. She was like, "Can you cover Thursday?" And I was like, "Yeah." So, okay.
Well, here we go. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom quick and let my
Okay.
dogs go pee, and then I'll be right back. I can't believe
Okay.
I forgot that. I'm so mean.
Mm.
Archie. Good boy. Oh. I can't hear you.
That was quick. Or do they just stay outside?
No, they're just, he's gonna try and crap on my floor.
Oh,
Of course, because anyways, he's going to. I can tell by when he's out there
yeah.
what he's like. He's a bugger.
Uh,
We have to bring a special dog trainer in for him. She's just a normal dog.
yeah.
So I asked Cheryl those questions, but she hasn't gotten back to me yet.
Okay.
So
So
she will.
I will mark that down.
Are we listening to a PCC recording today?
No, she wanted you just to coach me.
Oh, okay.
Were you
All
supposed
right.
to listen to one?
No,
Oh, okay.
I just thought we might because it's just you and me.
Yeah.
Well, alrighty then.
Yeah. Well, do you want to do coaching first or lesson first?
Um, let's do coaching first.
Okay.
Let's do that. My dogs are quiet right now, and
Yeah. They're gonna poop inside anyway, so let
only
them have
him.
their time to go poop inside.
Yeah, he's the only one who's gonna do that.
Yeah.
So,
I know I need to get a special dog trainer too for my little one.
oh,
Just
he's
barks
such a,
incessantly.
yeah, this guy's such a bugger. He kind of drives me crazy. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get all of my work folders out of my way.
Yes.
And there's so much. Here, let's get this. All right, I feel very not prepared today. So we shall see how this goes.
You'll be just fine.
I was gonna say, maybe I'm the one who needs to be coached in breathing today. I'm good though. I'm here and I'm good. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so it's 11:20.
Yes. So um
Mika,
till
quiet.
10 till,
11:50-ish.
yeah, or more if you need. Just to
Yeah.
um feel like we've completed the full session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know what? I'm putting my dogs in their playpen.
Okay.
I just feel like she's just barking. You can hear her. Let's go, Fletchy. Let's go, you little dink. Come on. Come on, Mika. Come on. You guys can sit there and not. Yeah, let's go, little girl. Let's go. There, now they can't see out the window
Hmm.
to bark at anyone going by. They don't usually do it that much, but she just did. And so I feel like I'd just
Yeah.
be worried about that instead of my actual
Focusing.
coaching. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I'm gonna get
Okay.
started here. So yeah, it's good to see you. And
Hey,
how are you feeling?
um, today I'm feeling, I think, fairly decent, like a six-ish on a life scale. Yeah,
Six-ish.
yeah.
Well, all right then. Are you okay with a six-ish?
Well, maybe I should say a 5-ish, because there's more, I guess I am a little bit more uncertain about like a little bit of things. So, um, yeah, I'm okay with the 5 because Monday was like Monday was a like a 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then yesterday or Tuesday was better. And yeah, so there's just kind of like, uncertainty with my new life and my marriage happening and then moving so quickly afterwards and like leaving my life. And then um my husband threw his back out. I don't know if I said that earlier. And so
Mm.
we have not been able to do anything around the house this week. So even like, yes, he's been working, but at night I thought, oh, well, if he can help me do these 2 heavy lifting things, I can do this. If we can do this together, we can do this. Well, there's been nothing done because bless, he's had to move like 2 households. So I'm sitting in my office, which I could barely can get into. But I was able to get my egg chair to move around, and I've made some wonky kind of desk because he is in his office, not at a store like he's supposed to be today. Um, so it's just, besides all the other uncertainty, then that kind of happened. And so how I kind of like plotted out the next week for my life and what was going to give me sanity and things to like wouldn't say look forward to, but like gauge my week and like get me out of bed in the morning has been gone like this week. So so I feel like a 6 is a lot better than I probably thought I would be with all the things that have gone on. Yeah.
That is actually quite good. I would
Yeah.
have to say I completely agree with you on that. So, what do you feel you need to do, if anything, to prepare for walking into our session?
I think I'm actually just glad we're having a session. I think I've been
Okay.
doing a lot of just breathing the last few days and just like, okay, I can only do like what we can do. And okay, what can I do right now? And doing that and trying to do my best to not let the rest consume me. So I feel headspace wise in a good spot to enter into a session.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to take a minute then just to share.
Hmm.
This is a judgment-free zone. You can share what you need to, what's on your heart.
Hmm.
I'll be taking some notes. If you see me looking down, I'm still with you.
Hmm.
I'm just,
Yeah.
sharing some notes here. And so what is it, given that, would you like to talk about today? Would you like to sort out?
I think I want to sort out um like the converging of our 2 lives and how to kind of slowly start to build like a rhythm, or figure out a routine that works for us. Because, like, as we talked about my other sessions, like, I've been single for my life. So I'm coming with that background, and he's coming from an emotionally abusive background, and he did everything for the house, like everything. And so his expectations are like this extreme side, and then my expectations are on this side. And so I think I've just really been thinking about like last night, okay, how do we what's the stance kind of look like? And then I was like, well, obviously I need to ask him. And then I was like, I don't really know if he knows either. And then, okay, so then how do we start a dance? So I guess that's the starting place is like, how do you start a dance of merging 2 lives of people in their late 40s who have not had healthy, relationships in the past.
Okay. So just to make sure I understand,
Hmm.
you are looking to figure out today in this session
Mhm.
I guess, a plan of action of how you're going to go about merging your lives together.
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. What what is it going to look like? Well, no, that's not the way. Let me restart that. How is it going to impact your life having
Hmm.
this sorted out?
I'm getting on my notebook to take notes. For myself. Well, I think it'll just help us navigate. Well, obviously it's going to help us navigate life, but I think it'll help us avoid a lot of unnecessary or avoidable, not unnecessary, avoidable tension, um, and maybe some possible fights that don't, that could have been avoided, or maybe not as extreme as, they would be if we, I think by doing some of this, then maybe the fights that might come down the road won't be as extreme because we've kind of
Okay.
talked. Does that make sense? Like some of the basis is kind of like laid a little bit better.
Yeah, you have a foundation.
Yes. Yeah. Of like what we're both kind of expecting from one another or need from one
Hmm.
another. I don't think expecting's fair, but I think needing is, to name our needs.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. Yeah, so in a nutshell, it's meaningful to you to do this so that you can avoid conflict down the road.
Yes. Yes. And I do not like conflict. So any way that we can avoid it and only deal with the necessary conflict is really excites my soul.
Okay, perfect. All right. So, how are you going to know that we've achieved
Mhm.
the goal from today's session?
Um, knowing how to maybe knowing how to start this kind of conversation with John in the next couple days, right? Because I mean, so much of this is like, well, what does he need and what do I need? But how to like start that conversation? Because just saying to someone like, "What do you need?" is kind of blank, So how do you kind of like start getting into rhythm and what do we want life to look like? And yeah, I guess kind of going in with a clearer head. Obviously, I don't have a clear head on how to go into this with John.
So you'll know that we've accomplished our goal today of
Hmm.
you figuring out how to um, have a new routine with him by your clarity on how to approach it with him.
Yes, by having clarity on how to get the conversation rolling, like that open dialogue of um helping each other with one another's like needs and keeping like the household running smoothly. Because I think when I think about like keeping a household running smoothly, right? Like where my head went the other day was like, oh, okay, he's doing the dishes. Well, he loves to do the dishes. Um, that's why I married him. He likes to do, a lot of things that I don't like. But then, okay, so then what are the things that and I'm like, okay, but this isn't like just a chores list. Anybody can make a chores list. Like, what does
Hmm.
it mean to like really talk about what we need and how to set out a routine that's going to serve both of us, not just like serve the cleanliness of the household, but like serve both of our like um sleeping styles and both of our emotional needs and all that like delicate dance that goes on every day with someone else.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna have clarity. Well, sorry, we're gonna, how do I say it here? I feel kind of out of sorts today, can you tell? Um, so you'll know that we've had success here when you know how to start this conversation with him
Yes.
and have it move along. Okay.
Hmm.
All right, good. So how did you want us to start figuring this out today? What's our first step?
Well, I think I know the step isn't figuring out a chore schedule. So I think it is figuring out what also plays into helping one another out. Like what's those next few layers? Because everybody can do their own chores and do them great, and you can still like not be meeting one another's needs and, building a good foundation.
What does it look like to you when you are meeting each other's needs and that foundation is there, as compared to if you weren't?
Yeah, I think there, I mean, I think I don't want there to like, I don't want either of us to build resentment towards the other. And I think that happened for both of us, especially him, um, in his previous relationship. And so, like, he's quick to just do it and get something done as opposed to maybe airing the resentment. And because I don't like conflict, I don't like to bring those things up either. So I want us to be able to be open and not open enough that there isn't like what was the word I just said?
Conflict?
Not conflict, but resentment. Like that
Oh,
we
okay.
don't hold like harbor resentment or as soon as maybe we catch ourselves going, "Ugh, why doesn't she just know to like why doesn't he just know to do this?" Well, then that's a sign like he just probably doesn't know to do this. Like so let's talk about that and not letting yeah. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Gotcha. So, hmm. So let's say you don't have this plan.
Hmm.
What's the negative outcome?
I mean, then we're not building a healthy marriage. Now we do have a therapist, a marriage counselor, so we do have that, which is great. Um, but I think, as people in their late 40s, we should be able to start navigating some of this on our own and, use her on the big things, not just, figuring out the daily ins and outs of life.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What fear
Mm.
is there in him not speaking up and just doing what he thinks you want to have done?
That I'm abusing him like he was. And that's a pretty strong statement because I was just about to say like he was abused before, but I mean, that was scratching the surface of what his ex did. It wasn't so much. I mean, yes, he did do everything, but then it was also the emotional abuse that she put upon him whilst he was doing everything. I just don't want him to feel taken. I don't want him to feel taken advantage of. I want him to feel really loved and appreciated for who he is and like what he brings to the table. I want him to know that I'm really grateful for how hard he works for our family and the things that it provides. And like last night, just going to bed, I was like, I was telling him, I just feel there's just already a sense of like little bit more peace. I don't want to say peace, but just a little bit more layer of peace and another layer of like relief that we're both going at everything together. Like now our lives are merged, our finances are merged, like all of our stuff is feeding into one thing. And that, as having been a single woman for so long, who wasn't like in corporate America, so who did have financial struggles, it's a real relief. So I wanted him to really know that like I already feel just so grateful for him and what he has done and is doing for us.
What makes you think he may not know that?
Well, he's not going to know it if I don't say it. Um, and I think I don't want to assume by not saying it, right? Because then I think I would start to take it for granted. And so it's making me then say it out loud to him. And I know it was all, it wasn't voiced to him before. He was not thanked or um, appreciated in his previous marriage.
How much do you think, I could be off base here, but how much do you think the comparison of his most previous relationship to this one impacts your current relationship?
I mean, I think it probably does more than in other like remarriage situations because I knew her, and not that I knew her, but that we all worked together in a really like close environment. And so I saw what she did to him. So it's not just hearsay from him or
Hmm.
hearsay from friends or even being like having been friends with them from a distance. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I was in the thick of it, and I was in the thick of it like as her really close friend. And the more that I saw things, then I ended my friendship with her. Like I just couldn't even be friends with someone like that. So I probably do let it play a little bit too much in my mind, or that fear's a little bit heightened because I just saw the way that she crushed him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how different are you than her?
That like expression night and day. Yeah, that's us. Yeah,
Okay.
like 1,000%.
So if you are that different from her,
Hmm.
how will anything even be close to the same in your relationship than it was with the two of them?
No, that's a good question because it can't be. I mean, it can't be. Yeah. Even in the
Okay.
things that besides the work stuff that we connect on, like extracurricular activities that we would all do as coworkers in other countries, like they would go do other things, and I
Hmm.
would, be the one going to um, watch the football and hang out. And, we had a lot of the same passions isn't the right word, but interests and things that brought us fun just
Hmm.
naturally beforehand in our friendship.
Yeah. Okay. So, how would you say right now, if a conflict arises between the two of you, how would you say that you deal with that?
I don't know. We haven't really had like anything major. I think it's been more maybe caught before it's become major, or we start like laughing in a good sense, like, wait, is this turning into a fight? No, this is not a fight. This is just a misunderstanding. This is just a difference of opinions. This is just different personalities. Um, so, we haven't had like anything big blow up. I mean, honestly, the biggest thing we had was at IKEA like months ago when we were trying to measure closets. So dumb. Yeah.
So, I'm hearing you say that you want to know how to start conversation
Hmm.
about converging your two lives and how to figure out a routine.
Yeah.
And what I'm wondering is, it sounds like to me like the two of you have really good skills already to
Hmm.
be able to just deal with whatever comes up.
Yeah.
And and so I could be wrong there, but what's the need to figure out to know how to start conversation about a routine if
Hmm.
you're both already doing that?
Probably just the anxious side of my personality of like wanting to get it right for me, like personally. Um, yeah, I think just my natural ability to be anxious about things that maybe I don't need to be anxious about. And this isn't or shouldn't be um how do I say this? Like this shouldn't be a negative anxiety inducing time. This would just be a unknown inducing time. Does that make sense? Like I remember when I came back to the States having this big conversation about like I had all this anxiety in my life, but and so what had happened over time was even things that we would consider good anxiety, like good butterflies, I didn't know how to recognize them. Everything
Hmm.
was just bad. Everything was just anxiety, and anxiety was just bad. And maybe there's a little bit of that like hanging around in this situation of it's unknown. We're learning to dialogue. We already know how to dialogue. We're learning how to dialogue more. So this isn't like a bad thing or a big anxiety thing. It's just an unknown time. And it's okay that it's unknown. I think maybe that's it. I just need to like remind myself that it's just unknown. And that's, gosh, I mean, maybe some people think that's the fun of it. And there can be in there. I just maybe have to like, yeah, keep giving myself that permission to be okay with like the unknown of it, and that the unknown is okay. And that although the unknown might bring some, a little bit of anxiety or a little bit of fear, it's nothing compared to like the true anxiety or fear I've had in my life. And then it might actually bring some fun and laughter to figuring it out.
Kind of like measuring something in a
Yeah.
store.
Gosh. Because he's analytical and I am so not analytical. And it
Hmm.
was all about 6 inches. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was really funny. He would probably tell you it was like 6.13 of a 16th of a whatever decimal. And I'm like, oh, 6 inches. That right there just tells you the difference.
Yeah, right? It did.
Hmm.
Um, so I just wanted to have a quick check-in here about you knowing how to start the session, or knowing, not
Yeah.
the session, but that was kind of the terminology you used, but
Yeah.
knowing how to talk with him about this. Where are you
Hmm.
at right now in thinking about that?
I feel a lot freer inside. I mean, I know I said like overall, I feel like a 6, like at the beginning of our session, but I think as far as like this topic, I maybe was
Hmm.
like at a 4.
Hmm.
And so by saying I feel freer, I'm kind of like, I think at a healthy 8. 10 isn't healthy, you know?
Hmm.
um, so I just feel like a freer sense inside to like, okay, we just explore this. This is just an exploratory time. And that can, like I said, can bring a lot of different outcomes. And
Yeah.
they don't need to be all classified as like bad or scary or cortisol producing.
That's a brilliant way to put it.
Yeah.
Cortisol producing. I really like that. I'm definitely going to be using that in the future.
Yeah.
Um, so would you say that you feel now like you don't actually need to start a session or like start a conversation about this, but just let it organically flow? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I think the freeness is that it just will organically flow as it needs to, as it happens. Um, and just bringing two lives together is crazy, anyways.
Hmm.
Um, and whether you do it at 20, you're just dumb and you don't know what you need to know. And then when you're in your late 40s, you know too much, right? So the good and
Yeah.
bad of both. And then you throw in, moving states and friends and throwing out backs and my just general anxiety disorder. You throw in all those things and within, a week of marriage, and that's just a
Yeah.
lot. And we knew it was going to be a lot. So it's a lot. And it proved to be a lot. And be excited for next week when it's not as much a lot.
I think it's amazing how you're handling this.
Thank you.
How calm you are, how competent you seem, how relaxed you seem about it, especially with a anxiety disorder, as you're saying, you
Hmm.
know, it's pretty amazing.
Thanks.
Um, so it sounds like things have changed a little bit regarding our session.
Yeah.
It sounds now like you just are going to kind of organically go with it. But
Hmm.
I'm also hearing some, that anxiety side of you. So how will you be able to keep that anxiety side at bay through this situation to allow that organic
Hmm.
flow?
I mean, I think the benefit is that it's not a new thing for me. It's like 15 years old. And so I have become a lot more in tune to figuring out some of those signs for myself. Like, is this just my hormones are out of whack today? And so I'm just going to feel super anxious. And this is how I deal with that, you know?
Hmm.
Um, or like on Monday, it was just like, it's just hitting like all these different things that, I was kind of keeping at bay or hitting. And I just kind of need to lay in bed today and just not be a part of the world and just let these feelings like work their way through my body, and hopefully I'll be a little bit better the next day. And I was a lot better the next day. So I think it's just I'm more attuned to like naming and claiming like what's going on in my body and trying different things. Like on Monday, like I was like, well, I'm going to go to the post. We need to go to the post office and mail a bunch of stuff. I'm going to drive to the post office to get out of the house to like see if that kind of clears my head and the anxiety. Um, and that did not work. And then
Mm.
I went and did something else that did not work. Oh, it was a really long walk. That did not work. So I was like, okay, so we're just going to stay inside today and just like, um, yeah. So I think it's just, I need to continue to be diligent at monitoring my own cortisol, hormonal, cycle, like all of that plays into it. Like my hormones play into it so much. And just really taking the time to kind of step back for a minute or take a walk and just try to kind of analyze what's really at play here. And so like yesterday I had to go run some errands for us at Target, and because it had been just felt like a lot already in the week and it was Wednesday, I was like, I'm just going to let myself get lost in Target. Like I don't know anybody at all. That's kind of a joy, right? Like a weird place to be in life. Um, and I only need a few things, but man, let's just get like lost in Target. And like an hour and a half later, I walked out and I stayed in budget. I didn't even like buy absurd amount of things we didn't need. I bought like three things and they were tiny, like under $10. So it was like really impressive. But I just
Nice.
enjoyed looking at the cushions and the bedspreads and the Halloween stuff and some of the Christmas stuff they're starting to put out. And yeah.
Hmm.
So that was good. That was good for my soul.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear that you did something good for your soul. We don't
Mm.
do that enough.
No, we don't.
Okay. So I've heard you share your process for dealing with your
Hmm.
anxiety. What, if anything, do you typically do to hold yourself accountable in a way that feels positive to make sure that you stay in that zone?
Hmm. I don't really know if I do. I don't know if saying I stay in touch with myself fairly well is my accountability. Like I definitely don't like to be in the space. So I definitely try to figure out where it's coming from and then move forward appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so maybe that's my accountability, but it's not like something, where an alarm goes off every day or someone's checking in on me, like, how are you doing on your anxiety? I think it's so overpowering when it hits. You kind of just have two choices. And I feel like I'm far enough along that I know I don't want the complete shutdown choice. So yeah.
Okay.
But that is a good question. I mean, that's something to think about. Like, is there a way, something that might come up down the road that I can do that would help me, again, just stay accountable to those feelings and such? Or bringing John
Mhm.
in on that situation.
Okay. Well, I tell you, you obviously have some really good sense of self,
Mm-hmm.
um, and the ability to measure your emotions and know what you need to do for yourself. I mean, that's an impressive skill, to that degree.
Yeah.
Um, so that's really amazing. Okay. Well, we came into this session with you trying to figure out how to start conversation, discussion
Hmm.
with John regarding how to converge your two lives together. And it turned out that you ended up kind of deciding to move a more organic way with that and work on your own anxiety in the
Yeah.
process.
Hmm.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Isn't it funny how it always comes back to ourselves?
True, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
how is it that you would like to close our session today?
Well, I did jot down a little list here of thing I put good for my soul. And I made a little list of like Target, Trader Joe's, walking, listening to books. Um, so I think I'm thankful that I started a list, or that I was able to quickly maybe write a list, but I can also just keep adding to that list as I, you know, come to find other things that work for me, especially now that I share a home with someone. That's going to be different. And navigating, just giving each other space. Um, so I feel in a really good spot as far as ending the session.
Okay. I find it interesting how when we came into this session, I had asked you, what you wanted to take out of the session. You said, well, I don't want a list or anything like that of how of how I'm going to do this with him. And then you ended up coming out with a list. It was a different list, but that's what you came out with was a completely different list. Um, so
Because
I
who doesn't
find
love a
that,
good list?
yeah, I find that interesting. Okay.
That's a
Well,
great
perfect.
pretty much.
And did you
Thanks.
have any feedback on our session today and what we could do to improve for next time? Or what I could?
No, thank you for just listening for the words that were coming out of my mouth and helping me hear them back.
Okay. Well, good. Thanks so much. And we'll
Thank
see you in
you.
next session.
Okay. Thank you. That was really good. I needed that.
And I felt it was really awful.
No, I thought you
I
know,
struggled so much more than any other
mm,
session I've had so far.
yeah. Well, you're not in a
And
wonderful headspace.
and maybe that's what it is. And maybe that's a really
Hmm.
good lesson for me that when I'm this panicked
Hmm.
and frazzled, and the other thing I did not share with you, um, I happened to see it just before we came into our session, and I'm
Oh,
looking at
geez.
it again right now. I got a notification just before, not our session, but just before I
Hmm.
came on to our call,
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
I got $1,000 cell phone bill.
From your son? From like talking to your son or what?
No, I don't know yet what it's
Oh,
from.
you haven't even opened
So
it? That's impressive.
no, I didn't open it because I had to jump on this call.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I just feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I feel like I have all these clients weighing over me, and then this $1,000 phone bill that I now have to figure out where it's from and why I have a $1,000 phone bill. My husband's going to freak out. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that some of it will be like we get charged $15 a day for Tristan, um, what do you call it? Roaming across the
Hmm.
world.
Yeah.
Um, but that's
Don't
still
you
only
get,
$450 if he's charged for
yeah.
30 days.
Right. I was gonna say you should have that almost every month.
No, because when
Yeah.
he's on the ship, he's on Wi-Fi in the middle of nowhere, so it doesn't bounce off
I
any
see.
towers.
I gotcha.
So this should be because he doesn't have a cell phone bill anymore.
Mm.
Like we don't make him pay for his cell phone bill
Yeah.
anymore because since he's in the military, we got a
Yeah.
crazy discount on our cell phones through his military
Mm.
discount. So we said,
Right.
don't worry about your cell phone. You just have to pay
Yeah.
for the one when you're roaming every day. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm going to have to figure that out and have my husband lose his absolute crap.
Or it's a big mistake and you really don't know that much.
I doubt it. It's
Yeah.
probably not a big mistake. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna now I have to log on quick. But anyways, we'll continue here. But I don't know, I felt really off and it felt like it was really hard for me to think of a question or even feel
Hmm.
like I was really focused on our session, yet I wasn't mentally anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what that's about. And it's the first time I felt that so far.
Well, I think you might not think you're anywhere else, but obviously, like your subconscious is tied up with other things. Whether
Yeah.
you hear yourself in your brain like processing them or not, they're obviously being occupied and not allowing you to like have the free flow of thinking that you regularly would.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think that's why before we when we go into sessions, like really taking that time to try our best, because we can't, always fix it, change it, right? Sometimes stuff is just going on, but like to try to clear our brains and set aside what we need to set aside or not set aside if we're able
Yeah. And
to.
I don't know. I think it's an overall, you know,
Hmm.
and I don't quite know how to set aside that whole overall panic of my life right now, I guess.
Mm,
So
that's probably true.
that's a really good thing to think about and consider,
Hmm.
which I haven't yet because I don't think I've had a time in probably I don't know if I've ever had a time where my life is like this.
Mm, yeah,
It's
and that's
just
good.
never happened in my entire life. Like
Right.
not with my work and stuff. I strategically choose jobs
Hmm.
where it's very relaxed, and that's what this one has been like until now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to really give that thought. I don't quite know what I don't quite know how to handle that actually.
Well, I think the hope is you don't have to handle it again.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that is my hope, and I'm very excited to just be done. It's
yeah.
awful. I've been doing these I don't know if I mentioned I've had to have a couple mammograms,
No.
and I had the two mammograms, and then I had to have an ultrasound, and now I have
Mm.
to go have biopsies on both sides.
Oh,
And it's a 0 to 50% chance of cancer right now, they say.
yeah.
But I'm not having it for no reason. And here I was the other
Right.
day, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if I just had some cancer that would go away really easily? And then I could just say to my boss, I'm so sorry, I can't continue working. I've been diagnosed with cancer and I need you to lay me off. And then I can just start getting my money right now and no longer deal with the stress and just focus on my stuff. That's desperation, eh?
I mean, I think that's also like, okay, how could the Lord be using this in a crazy way?
Ugh, right?
um,
So,
I mean,
yeah,
it
I
would
don't
be a crazy way to handle the situation, not one you would choose.
know, but I don't know. And I feel badly. I'm so sorry. I feel like I really failed you in that session, and I don't take that lightly. And I don't know. I tried to get everything in, but it felt, you know what it felt like? Mechanical. It
Yeah.
felt really mechanical, like, okay, make sure you get this in and make sure you get this in. And I don't think I've had another time where it's felt mechanical like that for me.
Mm, yeah. And that does just happen sometimes.
Ugh.
Yeah. But the better, the more you get back into shape with it, the more, even though you'll have mechanical moments, they won't feel as mechanical because they'll be more there'll already be a side that just naturally flows out of you anyways,
Mhm,
whether no matter what state of mind you're in. So some of that
mhm.
mechanical feeling kind of dissipates a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah,
But your brain is not able to fully enter in because you're on the other job.
yeah, that's not good. I mean, what would you do in a situation like that? Like, what do you do?
I think you just do the best that you can do. I mean, I feel like if it's really, I haven't been in a situation where it was like so horrible. I felt like I needed to end the session. I feel like that would have been more disruptive than just going through it mechanically because it's really about whatever the client needs to get out of it. Right.
Mhm.
So then that's really trusting the client's going to get where they need to go if we're doing the best that we can in the moment. And so
Okay.
sometimes just asking a few questions, good ones, might just be what the client needs to. Um,
Mhm.
I think the worst one I've ever been in was I was so tired. I had been like teaching really late at night and then like getting up for this one gal and like this one client, and I had decided to make an exception way before I was teaching late at night to like see her um earlier in the morning than I would see a client. And I just didn't process that through when I started teaching later that I should have changed that. So it was like a couple sessions in of me teaching later at night, and I literally could not keep my eyes open. Like I'm sitting there looking at her and like asking questions and taking notes, and then I would find myself like just kind of like nodding off. And I'm sure it was like for split seconds, but it was like, oh my gosh. And I'm just like, oh, I hope she doesn't notice. I hope she's not noticing this. And she finally said, like, are you okay? You just seem really out of it today. And I did just say, I am so sorry. Yeah, I'm really like exhausted today. I've been teaching late and, that's not on you. And, um, would you like to reschedule or, you know, and she was like, no, no, like this is good. Like she was still getting out of it, like whatever she needed. But that was the worst I ever
Weird.
felt about a session because I was totally like, and maybe she, the other person can't see into our brains and know what we're thinking. And
Yeah, maybe it's
obviously,
good this happened today.
and she obviously, like, I knew I was like gone, but it was obviously for milliseconds
Mhm.
and popping back into it. And, she's thinking and answering her own questions. So she's not just like solely focused on me either. So I think maybe wasn't seeing what was fully going on. But after that, I moved the session time with her. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So again, I think that just speaks into our own, like building that trust and safety with clients, that vulnerability of, hey, like this is what's going on in my life right now. And it just means I need to adjust some things, and being honest with people about that, lends them to be more trustful of us because we are being honest about little things.
Yeah, well,
So,
now I feel panic on the 17th. I mean, that's 7 days away. I have 7 days. I'm trying to get 4 websites done in 4 days so that I can
mhm.
have a little more breathing room. I'm just nervous. 17th is our final evaluation.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But thanks for your patience today.
Well, yeah,
And
and I'm
Rita
sure
is here.
I see that.
Hi, Jill. How are you?
Good. Are you lurking? Are you hiding in a car?
I am driving home and I realize it's 8 o'clock. So woohoo! I only late an hour with a 4-hour party.
How did it go?
Oh, really good. Because of the twins, we had to appear 6 times on the on the
Oh
stage.
gosh.
I'm like, oh, come on, guys. But anyway, it was a privilege. I'm very emotional. I'm like,
Oh.
wow, we did it. We did it.
Oh.
Yeah, was easy.
How was the pageant the night before?
Oh, guys, I wish I could share the videos with you. It was excellent. Everybody, I'm sorry, I'm not very vain, but everybody is talking about the twins. I was like, what? I love it.
That's
So we didn't
awesome.
win anything though,
Oh
but
man.
the family value and the camaraderie that they showed together
Yeah.
was just astounding. Was awesome.
That's great. Great. Well, yeah, we went ahead and did the coaching first because it was just Christine and I. Um, and so we're just wrapping that up and we haven't done our lesson yet.
Brilliant. So I'm in
Yes.
time for the lesson, which is great.
Say that again.
I'm saying I'm very happy to hear that I'll be in time for the lesson.
Yeah. Yes, that did work out very well. Well, do we want to take a break? Do we want to just like push through and end a little early? What's best for y'all?
Doesn't matter, whatever works.
Rita, what's your driving like?
Should be your with your level.
Say that again. Okay, well, why don't we just take a quick 10-minute break then and come back at 25 after the hour.
Okay.
And we're on chapter 13.
Alrighty.
Okay, so I'll see you guys back shortly.
Bye.
Oh, I think we lost her again.
Oh, is Holly gone?
She's having internet troubles today.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You look so nice.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
So I
I'm sorry
asked,
you had a hard time.
I did. It was such a hard time. Oh, well, when I was just before I started my session,
Mhm.
I got another new client. I got a notification that popped up in the middle of our class saying, "You have a new client." And it's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Seriously? Like I
Yeah.
can't even, and that was, I've got 4 new clients now since Tuesday, since our last meeting, and I was already overwhelmed on Tuesday.
Yes, yes. Yes.
So I don't even know what I'm gonna do. We're supposed to have a Thanksgiving weekend, but I'm working all weekend so I can try and get 4 websites finished by Monday.
Yeah.
It is, this is happening for a wonderful reason. That's what
hotter
I'm taking out of it. Hmm?
the hotter the fire, the purer the gold.
Right? So, yeah, there's a good reason for it. I am an eternal optimist, which I love about myself, and I'll just be keeping that up.
There you go. Well done.
So, well, it might be just you and I now.
Okay.
Going through vision, values, and emotional insight.
Okay. Let me quickly get that up.
I have it here.
Mm-hmm. It's downloaded.
It's printed in my handy dandy school binder.
Thingy-majiggy. Okay.
Yeah, thingamajiggy, that's it. Oh, she's back.
We're all here. Oh, are you all
Yes.
dressed up?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
Thank you very much.
Your hair is all beautiful and curly.
Thank you. It's my
Yes.
Jesus perm.
Why is it a Jesus perm?
It is. It's natural. I think he knew this child needs some help, so he just gave me the natural curls.
That's funny. That's a good name. Okay, so we're just going to look at chapter 13 today, which really I just think is a good culmination of all the different things that we've been talking about throughout the course, and kind of just brings them together, showing you how to help your client bring these different things together and how to use them, particularly when it comes to helping your clients like understand their own vision and where they're wanting to go in life. And it says somewhere in the chapter here, and I really like it, that it's not like this rigid, like vision planning that we have to do with our clients. It's not like set in stone and can't be changed, but it's more just like, what direction do we want to go with our lives? And when I read that, I was like, I think for me, it said a lot, because I am so used to whenever, like, you set a goal, you cast a vision, it is very regimented, right? It's like, this is going to get done and this is going to get done. So taking it like as a step back and that freedom of, no, I just want to know which way to like point and direct my car. I'm just going to direct myself. I'm going to go down this path. And of course, like, there's going to be some milestones and things you're aiming towards. But if you don't get it in 1 month, you'll probably get it in 6 weeks, right? Like the point is that if you never had started down that way and didn't have that vision, then you wouldn't even be a month down the road. You wouldn't even know that you had missed, quote unquote, missed a milestone that you might have had for yourself, if that makes sense. So this is just really taking into account what are our clients' values. Again, right? It just always keeps coming back to values and how we become aligned. And so, of course, if our clients are going to be envisioning things, if we're going to be envisioning things for our own coaching businesses and for our clients, we have to be connected with our values and what that overall bigger picture looks like. So when we're in our coaching sessions, we're always trying to help the client like bridge that gap between like reality, like current situation, and what's like the future that they're aiming towards, the future that they want or they see possible for themselves. And so to do that, there's a few different ways we can help them make connections in ways that, you know, I don't think we usually, how do I want to say this? Like, make decisions for our own personal lives. I feel like a lot of times when people, I feel like, and this could be wrong because I have no true idea, so I should probably ask Coach Cheryl, but like the percentage of people that go to coaching for career coaching versus like overall life coaching, like in general, do you know what I mean? Like, and even within general life coaching, I mean like health and wellness, right? Like everything else in your life versus just like career job coaching. Because I feel like, yeah, like when we're looking at our career and our job, a lot of these things are more of a natural thing that we're going to do. I mean, our companies have us do them on a regular basis that we work for, but it doesn't always translate into us as people as we set out to make goals for ourselves, as we try to envision what are the possibilities with our lives, like, you know, what's looking and thinking outside of the box, like what does that mean for us, what does that look like for us. And so as far as like the visioning connection, I mean, the first one is just helping our clients have that clarity of purpose. So envisioning, encouraging our clients, you know, to have a clear, specific outcome that they hope to achieve, that they're moving towards. And both, of course, we're always doing it in the immediate session that we're in with our clients, but then what's that bigger overall vision that they have, right? So the client's always coming to us with a bigger overall vision that they're looking to accomplish in their life. But then each session is its own little mini vision within the bigger vision, right? So when we're talking about vision here in chapter 13, we're talking about both visions. We're talking about the bigger over encompassing one, and we're talking about the one for each coaching session that we're in with them. And then the motivation, right? So a well-defined vision is going to give the client more motivation, or a sense of motivation if they don't really have one, an inspiration to keep them moving forward, to not get discouraged as easily, to keep, you know, the wheels turning on this vision. And okay, if this didn't work, then what's the next thing I could do, the next thing that I can try, because they're truly motivated. They truly are owning this vision that they have for themselves. And then guidance for action. So envisioning provides a directional compass for the coaching process. So just meaning that we're ensuring that each session is meaningfully like contributing towards that overall big goal, that we're keeping that client on track towards that bigger overall goal that they're coming, the bigger overall vision, I mean, that they're coming to us with and for. And then also it's just the basis for decision making. So when faced with choices, when we have a clear vision and that clear vision is guiding us and propelling us forward, then we're going to make better decisions that align with that vision, that align with the values, that align with, you know, the time frame that maybe they're trying to stay within, or the budget they're trying to stay within, or the behaviors that they are looking to change in themselves so that they can accomplish this vision. And then it just enhances the commitment. So visioning solidifies the client's commitment to their coaching journey. So once they've envisioned the transformation and the impact on their life, then they're going to hold on to that, right? They're going to have a newfound commitment and desire for that vision to become a reality. So we always want to remember that visioning serves as the foundation in coaching as far as igniting a client's passion and a commitment, you know, by them painting a vivid picture of what could be, what they want to be. And it's that dynamic process that's going to bring them clarity and focus and help them align their actions with their aspirations, right? Like, okay, are these lining up? So envisioning can facilitate in a lot of different connections. So coaching session outcomes that we can see is just an immediate resonance. So visioning at the beginning of this session sets that tone for the session, for this engagement. We'll call it that one coaching session, that one engagement. By asking the client to envision the desired outcome of the session, it roots that immediate effort into a larger purpose. So when we ask, imagine if we've had a successful session today, what insights or progress would make this time feel invaluable to you? Or the one we ask a lot is, you know, if we were successful in this today, how will that feel for you? How will that change your perspective, right? And then we can also do just guided visualization. So the powerful technique in envisioning and guided visualization, where clients close their eyes and then they envision their own success. And that's where we really want to bring in, if we're doing visualization, we want to bring in the 5 senses. Like, what does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that taste like, if that's appropriate? What does that smell like? What sounds do you hear? Because the more of the senses that we can bring in to a visualization, to a outcome that we're looking to achieve, and then again, we're going to feel a stronger connection to it, and we're going to be striving for those different things. And then there's anchoring the emotions. So visioning helps the client to emotionally anchor the feelings of the accomplishment, which can be revisited throughout the session. And that's going to help them continue momentum and continue focus. Like I was saying earlier, like when we have this motivation, when we're anchored to these emotions, we can go back to those things and pull them back up, right? Like bring them back up within ourselves. Something that, you know, I would always say when I was speaking to people about doing youth work was that, you know, youth work isn't an easy for the faint of heart job, because, I mean, you really can't control a teenager. And, you know, one day they might be thinking they're going to do this, and the next day it's that. Or life just happens and things happen to them. And anyways, I just always like to talk about having a calling to working with teens if you want to be a youth worker. And that's what I would speak on a bunch when I was in Europe. And the visual that I would always use for youth workers was, you know, if you truly have a calling for something, if you truly feel this is your life's purpose, you usually can go back to a moment in time where you had clarity in your heart or in your mind or both of this is what I'm meant to do. Like in that moment, in that time, and in that space, it was like you stuck a stake in the ground and you went, this is what I'm doing, right? Like when people get to the top of Everest and they put in a flag, like you're putting in a flag of your own Everest, like this is my purpose and I'm going forward with this right now. And the reason it's so important to put a stake in the ground is because life isn't easy and things change and things get hard. And when things change and when things get hard, it's really easy to just give up. And the sad thing about our society is that we don't really fault people for giving up. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, understandable, right? We actually get excited and encouraged when someone actually follows through something. So when you actually have a stake in the ground, when you've actually anchored yourself into something, when it gets hard, when the wind blows, when you're not certain, when you're questioning something, you can come back to this stake in the ground. And I would always say, especially like living in Austria, the winds were really strong at the top of the Alps. And so sometimes I felt like I was at the top of the Alps holding on to my little stake in the ground of like, I'm going to help teenagers and youth workers in Europe. And I was like holding on to the stake with both hands, and the wind was blowing me like perpendicular to the land below me. Like I was just blowing straight out from the stake in the ground. But I had the stake in the ground, and so I was like holding on for dear life. So that's a pretty like big example. But just replicating any form of that, if our clients can replicate any form of that, of putting a stake in the ground, anchoring themselves into the emotions that they feel about this vision and this purpose that they have moving forward in their life, they can always go back to that and they will find encouragement, or they will find respite, right? Or they'll find a new clarity or be able to refocus and stand back up and keep moving forward. And I think because we don't anchor ourselves in things, because we don't like put stakes in the ground and go, this is me, this is my purpose, this is what I'm doing, then it's one of the reasons that we can just flounder so easily. Because we haven't put a flag in the ground. We haven't said, I'm here, or I have been here, and this is what I'm doing. So like when our clients have those moments, we want to tell them to hold on to that feeling of that success, right? Like let's take a hold of that feeling and then let's map out steps that are going to help this vision become a reality. Let's map out steps that are going to help this become truth for you. So connecting with that future is, you know, having the client look at the long-term aspirations that they have. So visioning bridges that gap between the client's current state and their long-term aspirations. So coaches encourage clients to define their future in terms of not just the achievements, but also, again, back to that whole person holistic approach, but to the whole person that they want to become. If you are successful when you achieve this vision, not just what are you achieving, but who are you becoming? Who are you going to become as you achieve these things? What things do you need to work upon in yourself? What are you going to learn about yourself? And when we're connecting things to the future, we always need to be in alignment with the values. So visioning helps to ensure that our clients' goals are aligning with their core values. And it's that alignment that increases the likelihood that they're going to sustain that motivation to keep going and to sustain that focus. So we might ask them, you know, how does this vision honor your core values? Just a simple question like that is not, for us, it's simple because we're coaches, right? So we've thought about visioning, we've thought about asking questions. Not a basic question, not a question that we hear in everyday life. So when someone asks you, you know, how does this align with your core values? I mean, most people are probably going to be like, oh, I haven't thought about it in that light before. I haven't gone about it from that angle. And that is going to help them quickly start to align things in a way that they haven't aligned them before. And that misalignment is most likely why they haven't achieved this vision, this overall vision that they're looking to achieve with a coach. And then the client can be strategic in their goal setting. So from the vision, as coaches, we assist our clients in setting strategic, actionable goals, those baby steps that we're taking towards the ultimate vision. So we can help by asking questions like, what milestone can we set today that's going to lead you towards that vision? What baby steps can we take this week to get you a little bit more forward, right? To keep you moving forward, depending on where the client is at the end of that session, right? Are we asking them to make big, like more quote unquote normal action plans, or does the client need us to help them set up baby steps to keep them kind of moving forward and propelling towards that vision? And then there's like just that, oh yeah, Rita.
So I have a client, and whenever I ask about the long term and the vision and where we're going, he's so stuck in the present. He just wants to get rid of the social anxiety. Okay. And what I've noticed is that every time we start with emotions, it's almost as if he calls it boredom, and then he just trails off. There he goes, literally trails off, and he's like, oh, I don't know. Like, hold on, buddy, come back. And so this is so difficult because he really came with a short-term thing, and I felt that he's an introvert. His dad is an extrovert. He's really experiencing that his dad does not accept him for who he is. So he's trying to be the extrovert, and that's the cause of the social anxiety. It's so obvious to me. You know, so now we've even done the scale, a test that he did for introversion and extroversion. And I have to say, I'm really battling to help him to kind of make just peace with who I am. And this is how, and he's a lovely person. He's absolutely amazing. So I'm wondering, would it be appropriate for me to say, okay, I feel we've got social anxiety is the short-term answer, and try to move him a little bit, looking like, you know, the long-term aspirations, etc. I was even looking today frantically for something that I can give him for values, maybe a value questionnaire or something. I'm just not sure how I can assist this guy to start from the long term, working it back. And he mentioned a very tiny thing yesterday when we met. He said to me, please don't give me this chanting stuff that I have to look into a mirror and I'm a crazy person talking to myself. And I'm like, that's why you don't want to do the emotional things, because you think crazy people do emotional things.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm worried. I'm worried that we're not going to get the result. But actually, I feel this guy is not ready to pitch up for himself.
Yeah, I mean, he can only get the results that he is willing to allow himself to get, right? He's only going to get the results that equal the amount of work that he's willing to put in. And so, I mean, just even, you know, maybe finding other words besides emotions, see if that kind of helps break him out. I like that you were thinking values. I mean, a lot of times with values, you can just give clients a list of values and have them simply just kind of figure out what their values are. You know, what are your top 5? You know,
Okay.
and talk about that in a session and see if maybe that like sparked something new in him or a fresh in him, as he thinks about his social anxiety, because maybe by doing his values and realizing that you know, his values do not include whatever social engagements he is afraid to do or has been attempting to do, right? And he realizes, like, you know, I value one-on-one time. I value, you know, writing, all these things. And then you start going, okay, well, what are the things you've been trying to do? You would hope that he, you know, like by doing that, we're so like you're so clearly connecting dots for him that he's not going to miss it. But if he is missing it, you still can like help him connect the dots. But even if you help him connect the dots, he still's going to have to need to accept it. You know, like, and ultimately accepting the fact that he's introverted, his dad's extroverted. He's putting extroverted things upon himself, and that's just never who he's going to be. But if he's not
Yep.
willing to accept that or do, you know, like really the work into it, then that's all he's gonna it's just whatever the client puts into it is what they're gonna get out of it. As much as we want
Well,
them to get so much more out of it. And especially someone like that, when it just hurts, like you can just see so clearly like how wonderfully they're created and the purpose
yeah.
that they have in life, and that the social anxiety is squashing all of that and there's no need for it, right? It's so hard to not
Mm-hmm.
like be the parent and shake them.
I'm very close to do that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I understand.
Come
That's
on, buddy, get with
understandable.
the program.
Yeah, that's really sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. You've sparked a couple of ideas. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Well, hopefully one of them will help get the ball rolling for him a little bit more. Yeah. Um, so then we'll have then with clients, when we connect the future, help them connect the future, there's that continual refinement. So visioning is not just that one-time event, but it's revisiting it, it's refining it, it's refreshing it, it's growing in it, as our circumstances change, as our life changes, as you know, all the influxes of life happen. Doesn't mean you have to give up your vision. It just means that sometimes you have to refine it, look at it, go about it a little bit differently.
Woo.
There's nothing wrong with that. Woo woo.
I
Can't hear me,
didn't
right?
realize that my camera was on. You're flashing everybody. It's good.
It's okay, we're all married women. We all are.
Your background's blurred. We're good to go.
Oh my gosh. In my Bible study, there's this one gal and her husband is a basketball coach for like colleges in the US. So he's like really in shape and he's tall. And what's so funny is like usually he puts the kids to bed and then she's in Bible on Zoom and he's like out working out in the garage. And then at some point he'll walk past the camera. Well, there's this lady, Val, we call her Mama Val, and she's in her mid 60s. And oh my gosh, and she's a happily married woman with a wonderful husband and kids. But let me tell you, Mama Val loves her some Daniel. And if we're like getting to the end of Bible study and Daniel has not walked by without her shirt, and it's so funny because Tiffany and Daniel are like in their 30s. And so Tiffany's like, "You're lucky, Mama Val, that you're too old to even have a chance with him because I'm not jealous." It's really funny.
Precious, absolutely precious.
So it's good to do, visioning exercises with our client. And I think, of course, we do that every time we have a session with them. But I think the bigger thing here in chapter 13, like the 1 year look and then a 3 year look and a 5 year look, I think that's something we want to, start doing with them in our beginning sessions, right? Or maybe halfway through. And I think that some of this work, yes, we do with them in sessions, but I also think it's really good homework. I think it's good stuff, to like say, hey, would it be okay if I gave you some homework? And then you send them like a worksheet, a simple worksheet of just a few little things. Yeah, Christine.
What would it look like if you did something like that during the onboarding process?
I mean, that's completely allowed. I think it would just then depend on how detailed. Like you wouldn't want to get, I think, too detailed because you wouldn't want to bog them down. I think you'd probably want to do like
Yeah.
broad strokes
Okay.
and then talk about those broad strokes in like your first session or two. So looking at the broad strokes and then asking more specific questions under each broad stroke that they've answered.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, I think it depends on your client and what they're coming to you for. I mean, obviously, when someone has you setting up a website, like they've got to do a lot of upfront work before you can build them a website. So,
No,
oh, oh,
they just leave it all to me and I live on
oh.
Chat GPT.
Okay, well, never
But I
mind that
get what you
example. But
mean. Yeah.
yeah. So, this 1 year outlook, you can have the client reflect on their achievements and lessons they learned in the past year. Maybe, I mean, maybe if this is someone you worked with in a group coaching setting before, or you've worked with them in the past and they're coming back to you, I don't really know if that's where I would start with someone as far as helping them envisioning like moving forward in their life, because I just wouldn't want them to get stuck on something in the past. But ask them to envision where they want to be in 1 year, and we're asking that on a personal and professional level, right? Regardless of what they're coming to you for, it's very valid to ask for both. But specifically, if they're coming to you for something professional, they're not expecting you to bring in the personal. And that's where we shock them. And that's where, those are the surprise things that they're paying us for that they don't realize they're paying us for. And that's why they're going to really be able to achieve things that they haven't been able to achieve again. So looking at both aspects of their life, because they so go hand in hand. And then facilitate, open-ended questions to determine how this aligns with their values, what barriers, what's the other word for barriers, but whatever, like think obstacles, that's the word, obstacles might get in their way to stop them from this. Talk about concrete goals and what would create the different milestones for them. And then, conclude with their commitment to revisit and to adjust this vision as you guys move forward in future sessions. So you could see here how you could get some big broad stroked questions going, and then how it would lead into your first session or two with them, and breaking it down. So as coaches with our high emotional intelligence, we are attuned to those subtle cues that we're able to see in our clients as far as like what really matters to them. They probably don't think they're giving off those clues, but because we are so in tune with our emotional intelligence, we are able to pick up on those things and ask questions around them, right? And help our clients realize these things that are being unspoken. And, whether they're dreams that are being unspoken, feelings, fears that are being unspoken, or values that they really do hold so sacred in their heart, but maybe aren't giving space to, or have never given space to, or haven't acknowledged. And so we can do that through our listening and through those subtle cues that people give off as they're talking about things. And we can help the client articulate the vision that deeply resonates on an emotional level. Again, like, we can articulate a vision, but it doesn't mean there's emotion or value attached to it. And when there's not emotion or values attached to it, we're less likely to achieve it. I mean, that's just the way that life goes, right? So we want it to be doing that for our clients, and making sure that it's not just mental, literally mentally in their mind, not that they're mental, but that it's just not a mental exercise. And if you do find out they are mental, please send them to a psychologist. And by, effectively using our visioning tools, we can enable our clients to connect deeper with these immediate outcomes from each session. And then again, that bigger overall vision that they're looking to accomplish. Okay, I think I'm good. I might have to switch over to my iPad in a second. My phone's getting ready to die. My husband's not on a video call anymore, so it might actually work if I have to switch. So page, I don't know what page we're on. Was that just page 1 and 2? Oh, look at us go. Okay, so so then, okay, uncovering the values for the coaching process. So at the beginning of page 3, it talks about different approaches that we can take towards value exploration. So we can ask the clients to think about, write down, tell us stories of fulfilling moments that they had in their life, and use those moments to help them figure out like what values were at play, what made that such fulfilling moments for them. And they might not be able to pinpoint the value, but they should be able to pinpoint what made it feel so fulfilling. And then that naturally is going to be the value, right? Because when you ask people, well, what do you value? A lot of times you're just a blank stare. If you just ask me that out of the blue, sometimes even I give a blank stare. But when you start asking, like, what were the really big fulfilling moments in your life? Well, then I get fired up and I want to tell these stories. And then it just naturally is telling you what I value and what I care about. We can, like we've already said, ask the client to identify values from their life and their work visions that maybe they've already written out. And then just the value sorting activities of giving them a list of values and circling them and talking through them. And also you might find with different clients that, if they're more of an introverted or writer type of person, you might want to give that as homework and then have them, pick their top 5 and maybe just write down the top 5 and explain them in a small paragraph and send that back to you, right? They might not be able to articulate the words with their mouth, but given alone time to think upon it, they can articulate it through writing. Or you got someone who's really artsy, let them articulate it through whatever their art is, right? Like sculpting, drawing, music, whatever it is. I mean, again, it's helping them connect on an emotional level that works for them so that they're really owning those values. So we can help connect a client with the outcome of their coaching and influence their future by the foundation for goal setting. So the values we're going to explain to them serve as the guiding principle for their visions and for setting goals for their life. And when they line up with their values, not only are they being achieved, but they're also fulfilling. And that's the difference when we include our values. And when we don't include our values, we feel misaligned when we achieve something. When we feel fulfilled and aligned when we achieve something, it's because we've been it's including our values. And then behavioral alignment. So coaching sessions that focus on values help the clients understand the why behind their actions. Why are they behaving that way? What's having them think that way. Where do these feelings come from? Do they make sense? Are they in, do they feel a sense of integrity, which is so essential for our long-term satisfaction and success? If we don't feel as though we have integrity, then, well, things are going to spiral in a few different directions. And this alignment can lead to more consistent and motivated efforts towards their goals as their actions resonate with their core beliefs. And then it's going to help influence their decision making and having clarity in that. So, you know, helping them understand that values act as a compass in our value making process. So, helping clients choose paths that align with what's most important to them. So, when they face that tough decision, that their understanding of their values are going to help provide the clarity, hopefully, and reduce some of that anxiety in making a decision, in understanding how to move forward. You know, so if a client is facing a career choice, they might prioritize opportunities that offer them growth and learning if they're a person who values personal development. If that's not a huge value of theirs, then, and they're looking at goals that all involve huge personal development, that's not going to resonate with them at all. It's going to give resilience and commitment. So when we adhere to our values, adherence to values can sustain clients through the challenges, right? And through their setbacks. So reminding clients of their foundational values, we as coaches can help them navigate difficult times with resilience and strength. And helping them know that they're staying true to their values provides that sense of purpose, right? It brings them back to that stake in the ground, that moment in time, and it helps them commit to the process despite whatever obstacles they're facing in that moment or that will come down the road. And values clarification. So the coaching process often helps clients clarify and sometimes rediscover their values. So this clarity can re-energize our clients. Oops, I'm going to switch over to my iPad real quick. Give me 1 minute.
And I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick.
Hello. Okay, sorry. And then it's going to help with our trust and intimacy in coaching our clients. So when we take the time to understand and honor our clients' values, it's just going to strengthen, obviously, the trust and the intimacy within our relationship with them. Sorry, I'm like readjusting things here. It's going to strengthen our relationship with them naturally, as far as the intimacy and the vulnerability. And this is going to help them open up more for us, and it's just going to give us a richer relationship with our client. Therefore, it's just going to lead to them having a more fulfilling outcome for their vision, and them really seeing and feeling the value of coaching and what it can do. And then them also, like, as we're teaching them these skills, right? So we're coaching them. Through coaching them, we're hoping and helping them learn how to kind of coach themselves, right? We're working ourselves out of a job. So when they feel the power of coaching, they're going to want to continue to do that kind of work on themselves as they move forward, which then is going to, in turn, they're going to either be recommending friends to coaching, which is really awesome and what we want, and or it's also going to be helping them teach some of these skills to their children or to their coworkers or to just people in their life. And we all agree, like, we all need a little bit more of these skills in our society. And then as coaches, as we use our emotional intelligence to sense and understand the values that are emotionally charged for the client, then that helps the client navigate those emotions as it's related to their values, to having joy and fulfilling a value, or frustration when that value is being compromised, being able to recognize that and figure out what is going on. When we're empathetic in our engagement with our clients, it allows our client's perspective just to really fully, it allows the client to really feel seen, heard, understood, and then that connection, like I was saying a minute ago, is just going to deepen all of our experience with them and as they set goals and move forward. And it's going to help them with their social skills, hopefully. Thinking of Rita's guy. Effective communication goes beyond words, so it does involve that emotional tone and the context in which the conversations take place. And as coaches with strong social skills, then we can create a dialogue that resonates the most with our clients. And as we use metaphors, stories, examples that align with our client, it's gonna drive the things home deeper for the client. And we can tailor them towards our clients' like background, their culture, their understanding, where they come from, what has meaning for them. Something we want to do when we are working with our clients when it comes to visions is we want to help them differentiate between the wants and the needs in life. Pretty big thing. So on page 4 here, we have a client named Alex who's 29, and they are an environmental lawyer. And it says that their interests are outdoor activities, volunteer work, and creative writing. And their goal is to integrate a more eco-friendly practice within the law firms. So it's establishing a community outreach program and to find more time for personal writing projects. So Alex then has to identify their top values. So they list their top 8 values as integrity, innovation, family, freedom, service, leadership, creativity, and ethicity. That's a hard word to say. So looking at Alex's occupation, their interest and their goals and their values, what do you think the priority of their values are then?
Well, I think the fact that he's first of all, eco-friendly,
Mm-hmm.
community outreach, personal. It feels to me it's almost like this family feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess one of his top priorities might be the family and the service, the
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
personal.
right. Yeah, because I almost wondered if family was the right word and if he really meant community.
Yes, yes, yes. I
Yeah,
agree.
right. Like it kind of, but they also kind of go hand in hand. I guess it depends on your family background, right? Is your family your community? Is your, like,
Mm-hmm.
I see, innovation as a huge thing for them because,
Mhm.
they're bringing innovation into the law firm and they want to, the new outreach program and just innovative and finding more time for themselves. So I think innovation is probably something that, is pretty high up there for them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, and obviously, like, I think the creativity goes with that. And I know it says leadership, but I don't know. I mean, you could safely assume, like, if you're going to be innovative and you're creative enough to do these things, then you would be a leader in that area. But I don't know if that naturally equals leadership, right? Because a lot of times you can be innovative and creative, but then someone else leads it. So I think, leadership might or might not be higher up, or it might be a little bit lower. Just because you value it doesn't mean you do it. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's so interesting because the team I'm working in currently, that's the perfect example. The team I'm working in, I'm the extrovert, but our
Boy,
values is
sorry,
exactly
the
the
dog's going
same.
crazy. As the men walk by.
Oh, don't sorry your dog, my cat that's joining us tonight. Can you
Okay,
hear me, Holly?
um, so here we have that their values could be service, like we said. Am I cutting out again? Let me turn off my camera.
Okay. Christine, will it make a difference if you turn off your camera as well?
I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh dear.
She's gone again.
Oh.
She's struggling with
Yeah,
internet because her child's home and her husband is home today. And
uh,
she's gone again.
yeah, what I wanted to say about the leadership is very interesting because the team I'm working in, the chairperson is the introvert and I'm the extrovert, but for the rest our values is exactly the same. So she's very happy that I take point lead and run and splash my face onto everything. And
Hmm.
she's like, I'll run the back ship. I'll make sure this is sorted. So I think the leadership is an interesting one to always keep in mind, definitely.
I find it interesting. I got different things than you guys got from the goals there.
What'd you come up with?
Well, I didn't have family really high on the running at all
Yeah.
because there's nothing mentioned about family. We don't even know if this individual has any family members, right? It just says, all about the law firm, community outreach program, and personal writing projects.
True.
So it doesn't say really anything about family at all. Um, and so I just didn't even really put family in there.
No, and I think that's fair as well. We don't fully know, do we? We don't know. Is community their
I mean,
family?
I would have assumed it with family would be involved because for me, family would be high on the list. But this person, so I put in order service, innovation, creativity, because of the writing and everything, right?
Yeah.
Efficiency. And then what else did I put? Integrity,
Yeah.
freedom, and family.
Yeah. Well, and if you scroll down, I mean, Christine, you came up right with exactly what what Cheryl has put down as the prioritized values that might influence Alex's goals.
Oh.
Because she has service, innovation, and creativity. So I think you exactly had those in that three order. I think Rita and I were in that same vein of understanding some of that. If I lose you guys, I am really sorry. Class will be ended. Read through the rest of the chapter. We have like 5% left here.
Okay.
But we also only have 8 minutes left. So, so let's move down then to page 5 here. And where it talks about differentiating wants from needs and coaching. So understanding that distinction between the wants and the needs is vital for the clients to make, real life changes that are in harmony with their deepest self, beliefs, values. We all have wants and desires, but those are usually shaped by the outside world. They're not going to bring us fulfillment. They're usually, what society expects, or brings immediate gratification, where needs are fundamental. They are going to bring us that fulfillment. They are going to foster our well-being, and bring us genuine happiness. So that's why it's so important that we're helping clients to differentiate that. And then facilitating deep reflection. So coaching that focuses on this differentiates and differentiation encourages clients to reflect deeply on their motivations, and going beyond these surface level desires, right? We want to be coaches that aren't working on a surface level. We want to be coaches that are working on that holistic, deeper level with our clients. So that, and because then that's going to reveal the core needs that usually are unrecognized in our lives because we're not naming them, we're not claiming them, but we really need them for that long-term happiness, that genuine happiness, or that satisfaction. So then we can use our emotional intelligence to guide the client through this reflective process, and then facilitating a space where they feel safe to explore and, and express these different layers that they have. And then we want to help our clients prioritize core needs for lasting fulfillment. So by identifying core needs, clients can prioritize their life choices and goals. So ensuring that their actions lead to lasting fulfillment rather than those temporary, quickly passing societal wants. And this can result then in a profound shift in how they approach their decisions, how they, choose what paths are right for them, and ones that they, might not have immediately thought were obvious, but they are really the ones that resonate with their values and their core self. And then enhancing decision-making skills. So differentiating between wants and needs also refines a client's decision-making skills. So with our support, then the clients learn to weigh their options based on what's going to serve their deeper needs. And it's going to lead them to a more thoughtful and intentional choices. And then wants and needs, it's going to help align goals with the true self. So our goals that are grounded in an understanding of our needs rather than these fluctuating wants are going to be more sustainable and rewarding. So as coaches, we help our clients set and pursue these aligned goals. And then that's going to reinforce their true sense of self and this direction that they're moving forward with in their life. It's also really going to help with just internal conflict. And I think this is something for us to keep in mind. If we're feeling conflict inside or arise, again, where is this disconnect? Are we treating a need? Are we treating a want as a need and a need as a want? Are we misconstruing those? So coaching ourselves and our clients, we can resolve the conflict by aligning goals with authentic needs. And then that's just going to lead to a greater sense of peace of mind and help our emotional balance. And then it strengthens our emotional intelligence. So the process of differentiating the needs from the wants, it's an exercise in emotional intelligence for the coach and the client. So it involves that self-awareness to recognize our own emotion and what drives us, and then self-regulation to manage our impulse desires for the instant gratification. And also help with empathy to understand how fulfilling needs, positively impacts our relationships and our just overall social interaction. And I don't think that's something we think about very often. So some strategies to identifying wants and needs. We might just want to do like a simple list, have them do a simple list of things, promoting the client or prompting the client to categorize the aspects of their goals, and then leading to a deeper insight about the true motivations. So if they look at their goals and their true motivations, what's the wants and the needs in that. So the objective would be a toolkit that's crafted to support you in articulating your personal and professional aspirations, identifying your vision and the core values you associate with it. And then this empowers a more effective goal setting and decision making in harmony with your authentic self. So these last few pages just go through a vision and values toolkit that we can use with our clients. And you might find some things in here, Rita, to help you with your male client, and or just to use on yourselves, ladies, at any point. But it's a pretty in depth, I think, how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of stuff. So, I mean, if you really want to give your clients an intake, a really in-depth kind of mapping thing, you can give them these 5 pages. Or you can kind of look at it and break it up into different sections, depending on, you know, after you've done an evaluation with your new client, it might help you then go, okay, I'm going to send them like this part of things. Or it'd be really great if they, you know, did some thinking and reflecting upon, you know, this page of this toolkit provided here. But I think these pages are really great in helping us help our clients with their visualization, their values. And as I said, like you could use this anywhere within coaching sessions. Questions, comments, thoughts?
No, I think it's very valuable to offer people that space to get out of their head and onto paper, or
Yeah.
somewhere where they can look at it. And that's something I really realized with this male client of mine. I said to him, we have to figure out a way how to get you out of your head so that you can connect with yourself outside of yourself, kind of, you know.
Yeah, and that's what's so hard with him, because he is so influenced by his dad. So him finding that way to even get out of his own head.
Yes, and I think, you know, in the South African context, maybe not only South African, but you know, it's very unacceptable to wash the dirty clothes and to look at the emotions, you know, you're a crazy person if you do that. And but looking at this possible intake form for me, I did another coaching course also about life purpose. It was also profound, just like this course. And I just realized tonight how important it is to help our clients to basically not to only get stuck in their minds for a couple of minutes as you drive, you know, as you drive to your work, as you drive to drop off the kids, but kind of get them seriously involved in their own lives.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to kind of judge sometimes. Are we in our own heads, or are we letting someone else steer our heads?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think this was a great chapter. I think there's a lot of things in here that are really helpful. Not that other chapters aren't helpful, but you know what I mean. And you know, I was going to say, Christine, if you know, if you're really feeling anxious, nervous, you know, wanting to talk through y'all's like final exam, you know, I'd set up an appointment with Cheryl. Just reach out to her and be like, hey, I'm having some concerns, like, could we meet to talk about it? You know.
Yeah, I could. You know what I think I just need to do? I just need to set aside a couple days before that and just really dig into this.
Yeah.
Because I feel that's a huge part of my problem. I haven't given this the attention that it needs.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big part of it. And, you know, I mean, my final class is on the 17th, and none of these clients are going anywhere. And she's gone.
And she's gone.
All right. Well, we're out of here then.
Thank you, Christine. But if you need me and you need a couple of coaching or just a venting session, you know where I am.
And I still don't have the answer about how many sessions we have to do with each other.
I got it somewhere. Oh, my file's in the car.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
I
just
wrote
send me a
it down.
message.
Tomorrow morning I'll pick up my file, and I got that initial when she said what we should do for the
Mm,
mentoring hours. I found the paper with the
I
notes.
must have it somewhere too then.
It was our first class.
Okay,
It was
I
our
will
first
look
class.
and see.
Okay. But
And
I'll
check
send that to you as well.
as well too. All right,
Okay. Thank you.
sounds good. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Cheerio. Bye.